Hi there folks, my name is NovaWrap and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for all your simulation release news and goings on from the week that was. Alrighty, we're going to get started this week with something a little different. So this week saw the release of Cricket Captain 2016. So Cricket Captain has been one of those sporting simulation titles that's been going on for a little while, and this is the latest iteration of it. This is for the 2016 series and puts you in the world of cricket. Now, for those of you American viewers who may not know what cricket is essentially hockey, but where only two people have sticks at any one time. Bottom line. So yeah, you got the batsman, you got the two batsmen, and then you got the fielders, bowler, wicketkeeper, all the rest of it. So for those of you in the Commonwealth, the rest of the world, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But those from America, you'll probably just nod and smile, look at this in somewhat confusion. Anyway, so this is a really interesting sort of simulation. Again, for those who like your sporting simulation games, this is probably going to be something that you know of, are interested in, and could be interesting to see for you to have a look at. Some of the things that are pretty cool that are included now, of course, this one is that they've actually implemented and updated their One Day International and 2020 World Cup tournament modes. 2020 is an odd element of it where it's just sort of like 20 overs per side, which is reduced from the old, the originally when it just used to be old 5-day test matches, or well, it used to be just 2 innings test matches for those of you cricket history buffs out there. Anyway, so yeah, this is available now because it could be interesting things. The 3D graphics of the actual, in-game gameplay are a little bit, limited. But of course, like most sporting games, it's about the actual simulation of the team and you as the captain, and not necessarily just about the gameplay, the actual, physical game itself. So, yeah, looking pretty interesting. As I said, it's for those of you who like it, you'll probably already know of it. But those who were sort of interested in cricket, this could be something for you to maybe have a look at picking up. You've got 79 playable teams across 5 domestic leagues, as well as new teams in both in New Zealand and South Africa. And you can play in various locations, very famous locations all around the world. So including some new international teams that have come through the 2020 series and the One Day National series over the last few years as well. So this is available now on Steam, currently on a launch promotion with 10% off for about 25, 22 US dollars, or your regional equivalent, available now. Alrighty, moving off the cricket pitch now, but staying terrestrial for the moment. So the guys over at Train Sim, the Train Simulator guys, the rail simulator from Dovetail Games, have released a few new add-ons this week. So we saw their first official one, which was the Scott Rail Class 68 locomotive add-on. So this is a diesel-electric locomotive that's fairly new. It's sort of a generally 2012 sort of to a 2013 build and derivative, and became through with actually, and so it's becoming a more common sight on rail lines throughout the United Kingdom now, and is really interesting sort of set up for that. It combines, it's primarily a freight hauler as well. It's sort of be doing various freight runs in the north and south of the United Kingdom, and operating especially on the ScotRail Edinburgh Glasgow route as well. And yeah, it looks kind of interesting. Gives you a mix of different liveries there included. Fully compatible, of course, as the official items are, with quick drive scenarios, and of course with Steam Workshop scenarios as well. You get 3 career scenarios included, as well as the Edinburgh Glasgow route included as well. So yeah, it's nice to get not only you get a train and you get a route add-on as well, all bundled as part of the same price. Looking pretty interesting. Fully compatible, fully functional virtual cabin as well, with all the fun stuff available now for 20 US dollars, or your regional equivalent now. We also saw a couple of other new interesting releases on the train simulator front as well, from third-party developers. So we saw one of the Feather River Canyon Scenario Pack 1 was released this week. It's obviously, it seems like they're going to have more scenario packs coming out in the future. And interestingly enough, like it is a scenario pack. So think of this for those of you who might be more into flight simulation and train simulation. Think of this as like a mission pack. So this sort of gives you you can do various different missions and going through a variety of tasks, whether it be mainline freight lines, you can do switching operations, you've got to do some passenger routes. You've got all sorts of different things to do as well, and actually sort of traking trains and their cargo all over the Feather River Canyon route. Interesting enough, though, it is one of those things that you will need to have other add-ons as well for you to actually be able to use it. So you will need to have the actual Feather River Canyon route, the Sherman Hill route add-on, which I'm pretty sure comes as standard as part of Train Simulator 2016 now, and the Western Pacific GP20 locomotive as well. So you will need to have all those as well to actually get the most out of this pack. So that's something to just for you to be aware of. If this does look something and you do want to add some more scenarios to your Train Simulator library, just be aware that you will need to have a few extra add-ons as well in your library, in your aircraft called a hangar. What do trains call it? I don't know. Stable yard? I don't know. Rail yard. Rail yard. There you go. In your rail yard, you need to have a few other add-ons in your rail yard to be able to make full use of this add-on. So this is available now. Reasonably priced for only $10 as well, or your regional equivalent. And yeah, no, that's cool. I thoroughly enjoy mission packs for flight simulation, and I think mission packs are a pretty cool thing. So yeah, good to see them for train sim as well. All right, there you go. Available now, as I said before, on Steam. Alright, we saw a couple of other releases as well. This is sort of like not really sure why they didn't just bundle this up into one release, but they split them over. I'm sure there's a reason for that. Not really 100% sure what it is, but there you go. So the guys over at Matrix Trains have released two add-on packs, the LMS P3 Coaches Pack 1 and 2. So essentially these are period designs, 1933 design period 3 coaches by William Stainer in LMS from Maroon and Blood and Custard liveries, as well as some in British Rail Crimson as well, before British Rail went blue and yellow. So the first pack includes first class carriage, a brake third, a composite carriage, and a six-wheel full brake carriage. And the second pack includes a third class carriage, dining third kitchen, and a dining third open, and a 42-foot utility vehicle. So that was one hell of a mouthful, wasn't it? Yeah, so essentially this is rolling stock for your existing trains, and I think it would go quite nicely with some of the beautiful steam trains that you can get in Train Simulator. So if you are looking to add some more rolling stock to sort of give yourself a new look and something a little bit different for your train simulation experience. These are available now from the guys over at Matrix Trains, available now on Steam for $5 or your original equivalent for each pack of each pack of 4 coaches. There you go. Available now on Steam. Alright, sticking with terrestrial things for the moment, but moving into the world of flight simulation. So there's been a few releases from the scenery world this week. So, Just Sim, a group of Russian developers, have continued exploring the rest of the world and have released their latest release, which is Nice, so Lima Foxtrot Mike November. So also part of the Côte d'Azur, and essentially yes, it is a French airport, but essentially it is so close to Monaco, it pretty much just serves as the Principality of Monaco's as the city-state's airport. And there is a helicopter service directly linking the Principality to the airport. And a lot of airlines actually do market Monaco, so that if you want to go to Monaco, you fly there via Nice. That's just what you do. So yeah, this one is looking, the Just Sim guys do reasonably quality, good work, low frame rates, but still looking pretty damn good quality. And this is definitely no exception. The quality that this has is actually, quite impressive. I'm very impressed, just looking through some of these screenshots of the quality of the airport that we're going to be presented with here. Available now for FSX and P3D, available now for a reasonably priced when it comes to scenery, for about €20 or your regional equivalent. Fully compatible with FTX Global, vector and the Orbix cityscape of Côte d'Azur as well. So nice to see a lot of integration and the testing has been done there, and looking with the beautiful, the usual high resolution custom runway and ground textures and building textures as well. So looking pretty nice, and as well it does support, as well as all the good quality ones do, it does support changing seasonal variations with its textures changing as well, which is always nice to see. So there you go. Oh, and that is available now from your favorite flight sim retailer. Alright, staying in terrestrial and moving on to other things. So this time we're staying in Europe, and this time we're heading over to Greece. So we're heading over to to Samos, so the island of Samos, on the Samos Island Airport, which actually is been put out by the guys over at 29 Palms. So 29 Palms, developer that sort of came on the scene a few years ago and have absolutely continued in leaps and bounds to improve the quality of their work, and this is their latest iteration, and just looking absolutely amazing. Not only do you get the airport here as well, you also get the entire island is upgraded. So full custom land, perfect land, customized land class, and a complete 3D mesh model upgrade for the entire island with over 90 square kilometers of satellite imagery, actually to sort of replacing all the textures in sim for this. So you are getting essentially a mini region with this. You really are, and it is looking absolutely amazing. The approach, just sort of reading some of the history about it, the approach is apparently a very interesting approach with a lot of mountain turbulence and stuff, because of the approach is very between a couple of mountains, and of course right on the water's edge as well. So a very interesting approach, to be sure, with none of the modern navigational aids like RLS or anything silly like that. It's hands-on all the way. Now, what is really cool about this is that I haven't really seen this before. Is that this developer is actually incorporating for their, because it is available for FSX, P3D, and all its variations. But it does include full support for P3D's speed trees. So the P3D speed tree thing is a thing that I think's kind of overrated, but at least it's great to see developers actually taking advantage of some of the extra tools that are available now with them in P3D version 3. So that's kind of cool as well. But otherwise, looking pretty impressive. The textures look very, very nice. The night lighting actually is, I'm kind of impressed by as well myself, and just looking overall very, very highly polished as well, with your 2048 textures, and looking very nice as always. So yeah, that is available now from your favorite flight sim retailer, or directly from 29 Palms, for the price of €24, or your regional equivalent. Alright, continuing on with more scenery released this week. So the guys over at Imagine Sim, they have rebooted their LaGuardia. So I think this is actually their second reboot of LaGuardia. I'm pretty sure it's the second reboot they've done of it. And so yeah, full update available now. So it's available now for $30 or your regional equivalent. Available now directly from the Imagine Sim website, or from your favorite flight sim retailer shortly. LaGuardia is just a really busy airport, and as I found out, incredibly expensive to fly into. So you really want to go to there. Anyway, so yes, there you go. It's very interesting, looking incredibly detailed. Imagine Sim just do some amazing, stunning work. Fully animated SODE jetway support as well, with Aerosoft's AES integration and fully customized in there as well, along with building shadows, lights, and just beautiful auto-gen integration as well. So just absolutely seamless, and it's just a complete redo of all the actual taxiway signage and non-generic markings that you see that are there specifically for LaGuardia. So a really excellently researched airport, this one, with some incredible, beautiful detail with this one. I will be straight up and say I have my concerns for people's sims with this one, simply because of the fact that New York City, at the best of times in any of the sims, is exceedingly frame rate heavy. You pile on any add-on to that, especially some of the the New York City Manhattan add-ons, and then add on something like this. Don't get me wrong, this is beautiful. It is beautiful, but beware of how beautiful it is, because your sim may not be able to deal with it. Just be aware of that. So yes. Anyway, there you go. Just something to be aware done for that one as well. And yes, otherwise looking absolutely stunning. So yes, just word of caution on that one. Available now for your flight simulation pleasure in and out of New York International. Alrighty, moving on. So yes, and there is still more scenery released this week. Still more. There's always more. Anyone's gonna think of start giving away a set of steak knives or something, surely. Anyway, okay. So now the guys over at UK 2000. So they've been a bit quiet lately. But they have released. They've come back to the fore again with this time around with their release of Exeter Extreme. So this one's coming out for the ESP range, so FSX P3D, and also for FS9 as well, which is kind of cool as well to see somebody still developing for that. So Exeter Airport is a UK provincial airport near the M5 and the A30. So in the Midlands, and it's got a fascinating history. It was RAF Exeter for a really long time. Served a lot of things. It was home to a lot of aircraft, everything from Spitfires to transports to Meteors and Mosquitoes and all sorts of things as well. And then before finally being transferred over to a civil as a civil airport in the late 1940s, before the RAF finally leaving in the late 1950s. So it's quite a busy airport as well, with a lot of flights, a lot of domestic flights coming in and out of there. Flybe uses it as one of their very big hubs. This is looking as an absolutely incredibly detailed airport. So UK 2000 scenery has always been sort of progressing in good stuff. What's interestingly enough though, and this is kind of cool, is the fact that these guys are actually offering free and paid versions. Essentially, you can get the airport, like the redesigned airport, with just basic buildings, basic autogen, just centerline markings and low res ground images, but and improved runway lights and new 3D and the updated 3D approach lights. You can get that for free. You don't have to get don't have the payware one. If you want all the other upgrades, we include the beautiful high-res buildings, full set of ground markings and high-res ground images for the entire airport and then the surrounding couple of square miles, animated traffic and a whole heap of other things, then you can go the paid version. So yeah, it's just really kind of interesting that they actually go with the option of actually both, because it's sort of kind of cool, and we're kind of happy that they do that, because that's kind of cool. So yeah, that's an interesting way of them to do it, and overall kind of impressed with that one. I really am. So it's a good approach that you've got, guys. So full props to you for that. But yeah, if Exeter Airport is something you want to grab, and as I said, these images do look absolutely stunning. They really do. This is available now for purchase from the UK2000scenery.com website directly for various prices. So if you're inside the UK, you're looking around about 17 quid, but if you're outside the UK, you're looking for around about just over £14. So not good. It's always good to have the VAT things done without that. So there you go. Alrighty, well that wraps up the actual ground elements of our flight simulation journey this week, and we move into the air. Of course, we're into the air with the guys over at Lionheart Creations. So Lionheart Creations, do a lot of really beautiful GA aircraft, and they've actually brought to life. They've had a few things in the work for a while, and they're kind of and then they've come up with this beautiful one, the Trinidad. So they've released a Trinidad before, but this is the turbocharged TB21 GT, which is a Lycoming TIO 540 powered turbocharged powered aircraft, which it just looks cool. Like, it's a little four-seater. It's a 190 knot cruise. About 1,000 nautical mile range, and a cool little tourer, and it looks absolutely stunning. Like, the interior detail of Lionheart Creation stuff is just, they've always been a solid developer, and this really goes to prove the solid quality of their work as well. So beautiful integration available across the range of your across the ESP range. So looking at around about $30 or your original equivalent for this one at the moment, and looking absolutely amazing. Full paint kit is available, and I love the way they integrate the avionics. It just looks really nice, and it's a simple designed aircraft, and it's just been modeled so well. So little cicada just looks cute. Anyway, so as I said, available now from your favorite flight sim retailer, with 4K resolution textures for the exterior. Interestingly enough, as a side note, I kind of like this is the fact that they've, a lot of texture sets we get in aircraft are like pretty much they look like they're factory new. These guys actually didn't do that for this one. They did factory new ones as well, but they did some very weathered, bug splattered, faded, muddied up versions that show their age. Because this aircraft is getting on a bit as well. So there you go. Great to see. Anyway, looking amazing. Available now from your favorite flight sim retailer. Alright, rounding out the flight simulation releases this week. So the guys over at Hi-Fi, the guys who brought us the Active Sky series of weather engines for the past few years, of course, pretty much the industry standard when it comes to weather engines for the ESP platforms. They've come out with their new product. So they announced it at Flight SimCon. Ironically, my interview with the guys over at Hi-Fi was scheduled to go live this week. So, and we talk in detail about Active Sky 2016, which is the new product, and Active Sky Cloud Art. So I kind of ironic. We were talking to the Flight Sim Con. It was like, when's it coming out? It's coming out soon, and it's coming out before I get the video out. Anyway, but you can hear more about it in detail in that video coming up this week. But the quick dirty version is the fact that these guys have done some incredible work remodeling in-cloud effects. They've completely rebuilt the cloud models as well. They've integrated a lot of really cool systems, especially made it a lot easier to build your own weather. That was one thing that other weather simulation things, especially from the guys over at Rex, were far better at. They were far better at customizing your own weather and doing that. But the Active Sky one was always clunky and very hard to use, but they've made that a lot simpler now, which is really cool. They've upgraded their X-Gauge as well to be the full airborne radar simulation as well, and just looks a lot cleaner and a lot more like one you'd actually see in a real aircraft. So that's really cool. Updated the whole scenario system. Still got your full 2-year database on that one as well. The other cool thing as well is that they've now got it integrated with NovaWrap as well. So if you do have a NovaWrap subscription, you get the full AirArc database update. So if you are looking, so you actually can, so it actually has all the right database and everything in there as well. Optimized a lot of things, especially for doing things like running it across a network as well. So that's made life a lot easier as well. The other thing that they've also released as well, of course, is they've released Active Sky Cloud Art. Essentially, this is their way of rebooting the way clouds look. So a lot of people use Rex textures for their clouds, but the Active Sky Cloud Art, essentially, they focus just on clouds. This is where their Cloud 3D models come in. So the Cloud 3D models don't come in Active Sky 2016, they come in the Active Sky Cloud Art. So that's just clear. The Active Sky 2016 is still just the weather engine. Active Sky Cloud Art is the images of the actual image of the cloud, the colors of the cloud, the sky colors as well, but also the cloud modeling. So that's just something to be as well. They are designed to work together, but they can work independently of each other as well. So that's something just to be aware of as well. But yeah, read more about these great products over at the Hi-Fi, and there's an interview, as I said, coming up on the channel later this week. One thing I want to point out though, and one thing that I am a little disappointed with, so with the introduction of Active Sky 2016 and Active Sky Cloud Art, we saw the introduction of a new pricing scheme. Now, I've got no problem with developers updating their prices, as time goes on. I've got no problem with that. But one thing I have a problem with, and I've always said this, I've said this multiple times, and I still say it, is that when you make a division between versions of the ESP platform, I have a problem with that. I really do. Long story short, what these guys, what Hi-Fi have done this time around is that they've set up as Active Sky 2016 can be purchased for P3D or for FSX. You don't get it for both anymore. So you used to get it as a 2-for-1 deal. You can get it as like a bundle deal, as a license deal. You bought it once. You got a license for both platforms. With Active Sky 2016, that's no longer the case. Now it is a separate license for a separate product. and no discount if you want to buy both at the same time. There is a discount if you are upgrading from Active Sky Next to Active Sky 2016. There is an upgrade path, but you have to choose whether you're upgrading for P3D or FSX, or if you upgrade for both, you have to pay for the upgrade for both. I have a problem with that. I do have a fairly significant problem with that. I'm very disappointed that Hi-Fi have chosen to go down this path. That they were, in the past they've been big supporters of keeping this, to do the platform is keep the community together. They've chosen to not do that anymore. I'm a little disappointed. I really am with that. I think at the very least they should be offering a significantly deep discount if you choose to purchase it for both platforms. Especially for somebody like myself and quite a few people I know who actually still actively fly on both platforms. So, yeah, just a thing. Incidentally, that also brought an interesting thing to this one. I forgot to mention, Active Sky 2016 doesn't work across the full ESP platform range. So Active Sky 2016 for FSX works for FSX Boxed and Steam Edition. Active Sky for 2016 for P3D works with P3D version 3.2 and above. But if you're still a P3D version 2.x user and didn't make the switch to version 3, you're stuck with Active Sky Next, FYI. Active Sky 2016, and again we went into this in the video, uses features and whatever for the P3D edition that are only available in version 3. So, yeah, Active Sky P3D version 2.5 users, you kind of luck out. Kind of trying to figure out why Active Sky 2016 for FSX wouldn't work with P3D 2.5. Can't really figure that one out. But anyway, for whatever reason, again, Hi-Fi are recommending that for 2.5 users, you stay with Active Sky Next. That's where you're staying. Okay, anyway, so that's all the caveats out of the way for that one. Otherwise, looking beautiful, especially the Northern Latitude clouds with the Active Sky cloud art. That just looks, no more elongated clouds. Anyway. Alright folks, that does wrap up the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget, as always, to like the video if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, don't forget also to subscribe to the channel as well. That would be really appreciated. That'd be awesome. As always, folks, you can catch up with me on all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. Alright folks, thanks very much for joining me. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.